who is the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, for more on this particular news item. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Kindly reiterate for us how the Ghana Health Service got to detect this case.
Okay, thank you very much. So the Ghana Health Service has a disease surveillance system which runs, I'll say, on a daily basis. So we try to detect epidemic conditions. So since 2022, when Mpox was declared as a public health emergency of international concern, we've sensitized our health workers to look for cases. So if we look at the year 2022 in particular, we had 220 confirmed cases, and in 2023 we had 8. Come 2024, as at 1st of October, we had suspected, and I want to stress this, suspected 230 cases. So it's not confirmed cases. Of these suspected cases, 1 was confirmed, and that's the case in question, and that was detected at wetting of. So basically, when you present the symptoms that are similar to a particular condition, we call it a case definition. And then you pick samples and send to the lab. So here, samples were collected and sent to our lab. So for Mpox, you have 2 labs that can confirm. It's a reference lab and then the Gucci. So this was sent to a reference lab and it was confirmed. And I think that I need to state that there's a news going on that is about 230 in 88 districts. No, those are the suspected cases. So our focus should be on this one confirmed case. And this one confirmed case, I would say that it is not a severe case. So it was seen and discharged after second day. So this child, 15-year-old male, is fine. What we try to do is that we identified contacts. These contacts were health workers and friends. So in total, we have 25 of them, and they are being followed.
I see. But for those who don't know what monkeypox is, how dangerous or infectious is this disease?
Yes, so it's not very fatal, but it's a disease which is caused by the monkeypox virus. So the transmission is normally from, let's say, the infected person to the next person. And it presents typically with skin lesions. So you will have some discoloration of the skin. They may have something like pimples. They may be raised. They may become like wells, and then it may dust. And then you have some fluid coming out. And then in some cases, within 2 to 4 weeks, that's it. So on few situations, it may become fatal. The fatality for monkeypox, for Mpox, is on the low side. So what you do is that you know that vaccination, the main focus is about prevention. So it's about preventing contact with persons who have these conditions. So it's avoid contact, avoid personal contact, avoid contact with the clothing and beddings of such persons. So that's the main mode of trying to prevent transmission of Mpox.
I see. In avoiding contact, apart from the lesions and the blisters, if you like, on the skins of the people, what else should we look out for? I mean, the other symptoms. What should we look out for in persons before we try to avoid them?
So I think that the key feature is the skin lesions, and there are several forms of it. It may be like blisters, it may be big blisters, maybe like small ones like pimples, maybe small ones like chickenpox or measles. So there are various forms of it. But then you may also have some of these lesions in the mouth. That's how we may get Mpox through kissing. Then so there's an even record of getting Mpox through having sex. So those are things that you try to make sure that even when the person has these lesions, then in that case you need to avoid close contact with such persons.
I see. So this case we have in tracing or in contact tracing this particular 15-year-old boy. Where did he get it from, or where possibly could he have had it from?
Yes. So normally when you're doing an outbreak investigation, there are some instances that you are difficult to establish the source or to establish what they call the primary case. So for now, we are not clearly able to establish it. So the idea is that there are some instances that you think that the disease is zoonotic in nature, so it could have come from some animal. We are not very sure what kind of food that actually ate. There's also this, because of this issue about sexual contact, there's an issue about this guy hasn't got any sexual history. The other issues, you try to find out whether there's any travel history. He has not got any travel history. So for now, we are difficult to establish the source. So for us, what is most important for us is who are the contacts? How do we keep a close eye on them, monitor them for 21 days, so that if even some should become case, we now establish another contact listing and then we follow through. So while we push to make sure that the awareness is created, we minimize or avoid contact, and we break the transmission.
I see. In your sit rep or in the situation report you issued, I noted that you were you actually said that the person had no sexual contact or sexual exposure within the last 21 days, and you just mentioned it as well. Is it by any chance, or is it sexually transmitted, or can it be sexually transmitted?
Yes, so there's record of people, you see, because it's like intimate contact. So, and as some of the viruses can be found in the mucosal membrane. So there's a record of people who have gotten it, particularly men with men. So, and I would say that it was more common in the outbreak in 2022, not in Ghana per se, particularly the ones that happened in the West and the Americas. So when you are trying to establish the cause of the source of mpox, you try to think aloud. Where could it go? Was it from travel? Was it from sexual contact? Was it from personal contact? So that's the way we are trying to ascertain. And I think that's if you look at the state rep, I think that maybe the wording was a bit different. What we are trying to say was travel within 21 days. The sexual contact is not about the 21 days.
Oh, okay, I get that. I said there was no travel history, or there was no history of travel over the past 21 days, or a history of sexual exposure to a potentially infectious person. I get that. How about isolation? I mean, isolating the case or the patient.
Yes,
is that something we should be looking at as well?
Yes. So this one, normally because you have such a contagious condition, immediately you're able to establish it. Even before confirmation, you isolate. So that's the first one, because you don't want to minimize contact. Do you understand? So this one was that immediately they suspected, they isolated even before the case was confirmed. So that's the first thing that is done for such cases. So let me say that even in the 2022 outbreak that we had, 120, about 95% of them were not severe cases. So there are cases that are seen and the OPD base, they go home. It's only few cases that become severe. So for us, I think the issue is not about fatality of the clinician. It's about mobility, people getting infection. So issue is avoid contact. When you see someone has lesions that are not unusual to you, to avoid contact. And what we also say is that when you have lesions on your body, and then you tend to have like swollen lymph nodes, then it could be a pointer of mpox. So you go to health facilities rather than trying to apply your own ointments on yourself.
I see. So how ready are our health institutions? Are we prepared for this in case this becomes a major outbreak? Are we ready to contain it?
Yeah, so I think that's what is good for Ghana is the sensitivity of our surveillance system. Ghana over the years has fixed several outbreaks, and it doesn't prolong because we pick them early. So what we have done is that we have shared case definitions, what will make people look for or suspect cases. So that is the first step, and it's across board. What's also good for Ghana, if you have the capacity to confirm. If you look at Africa, it's only 30% of countries that have the ability to confirm. And yet in Ghana, we have 2 labs. So we have Noguchi, we have our reference lab. So these are big classes for us. Then the idea is that if you have even severe case, we have treatment centers, which are, say, legacies of COVID. So there are areas that we can manage the case. So these are classes. For us, what we need to do now is make sure that our port of entry, we have done orientation, but we're going to now do more training. We also need to make sure that the health workers have enough PPEs so that they don't get themselves infected. And then we also try to make sure that create the necessary awareness, and we are grateful for your platform that people should look for. You don't assume that you have some blister, you think it could be this, it could be that. No, go to health facilities. It may look like chickenpox, but let's go to health facilities. Let's take a sample and see what it is or not.
I see. Before you go, of course, the 280 suspected cases. Do I have the impression that these are cases from the beginning of the year till date? And how many of these cases have been confirmed not to be Mpox? And how many of them are yet to be confirmed or still waiting to be confirmed?
Okay, so Apple will put that in the CITREP to show that we have a running surveillance system. So it is from 1st January to 1st of October. And we say that we have suspected 230 cases across the district. And I want to stress on this. These are not confirmed cases. These are suspected. And about 98% of them are negative. So but 98% of them have been declared negative. So they are not cases. So what you do is that you pick samples, you send them to the lab, within a matter of 2 or 3 days, then they are tested and you get a result. So most of these cases are negative. So they have nothing to do with the case in common. So our reference is one confirmed case. It has nothing to do with the 230 suspected cases.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Franklin Asidu Bekwe, who is the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, providing some updates on the 230 suspected cases of Mpox